then.
This is what happens when you jam an in-mast furling sail up. Combination of mistakes, really. What are we doing?
Leaving. Finally.
Yeah. First journey underway, leaving the factory now. Thanks, Torbjörn. Well, fenders down here,
What locker?
underneath the feet. Leaving.
Yeah.
Huh? There should be half an hour down to the bridge. We need to go in a second. But...
Yeah. I think you take the wheel. I'll fix the side and the fenders.
You happy?
Yes. But it's big waves. And they're not even big. They're big.
Just got out of Greifswald. And Greifswald, yeah. Getting a little bit hammered by the short chop on the way out, and it's probably blowing. What's the wind speed? You can't see that right now. It's probably about 20 knots of wind. Yeah. Didn't get a chance to christen the boat because we had to make the bridge on the way out for 1 o'clock. So yeah, but all good so far. But the wind is straight on the nose. No sailing for us yet.
Hello.
So we've had quite an interesting experience over the last few hours. We've sailed, we've not sailed.
We tried to sail backwards.
We sailed backwards. Yeah. We got the mainsail stuck in the mast. The jib is not manted correctly by the looks of it. I'll show you that a little bit later, maybe, if I get a chance. It's an overnight sail around Bornholm down to Christiansø, up to Christiansø. We should be there at around 7 or 8 in the morning, something like that. We need to go in there in the light. I don't want to go in there in the dark.
It's a tricky entrance to the harbour, and I just spoke to the harbour master, and the entrance buoy has once again gone missing, which is apparently quite typical for that harbour. They are awaiting us between 7 and 9 tomorrow morning. They have room for us, and yeah, I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to seeing Christiansø. I haven't been there since I was 14, so not that long ago, but not yesterday.
It's actually good that we run the engine a little bit more, because there's a specific run-in process that we have to do with the engine. For the first 10 hours I have to run it at 70%, and then between 10 and 50 hours I have to run it at 80% and full throttle every half an hour. Chili con carne and a beautiful sunset.
Seasickness and chili con carne. Okay.
Finally sailing. 6.8 knots. We are. Let's see. Just under halfway to Bornholm. And we're going round, and then we're going to a little island called Christiansø. 6.8, 6.9 knots. Happy days going into the night now.
Can you try not to hit any big waves?
Got some sleep. Ready to go for some lunch now at Christiansø. We've just been diagnosing some problems with the jib, and figured out we was trying to raise the jib halyard with the wrong rope because we didn't have time to fit the labels on any of the jammers, so we're trying to fix that at the moment. The mainsail was being a bit of a problem as well. It was very stiff and stuff, so we've got to have a look at that also. I thought I'd broken the sail, but I didn't. It was only the telltales that had just come loose, so that's all good. Couldn't really see in the dark. But yeah, everything is good so far. What do you think, honey?
I think it's great. I'm so happy we got here.
Yeah.
And it was actually a lot better trip than I expected, I have to say. Even though it was bad, it was better than I expected. Even though I was nervous at some points because there was a lot of thunderstorms around us. But yeah, it was good. And now we're here.
Beautiful clear water here. I don't know whether you can see that on the camera.
Oh, and a pair of sunglasses.
Pair of sunglasses as well. But yeah, she survived, so...
And now we're gonna go and have lunch and have the traditional Christiansø herring, or sill as it's called in Danish, up on the local inn. Normally there lives around 82 people divided on these two islands, so Christiansø and Frederiksø, which is the small island over here behind us. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. I haven't been here since I was 14. When you go on the traditional school exhibition and you come over with that boat that's here,
Elfstrom,
and everybody gets seasick. That's also a tradition apparently. But I don't think that many people have come over today.
Christiansø is a very small set of islands just north of Bornholm. It's a Danish island, same as Bornholm as well, but Bornholm is much bigger. All is going well so far. Haven't broken too much except our bodies. Just taking a walk around Christiansø now. Looks like they're growing a lot of their own fruits and vegetables and things like that, and that's pretty cool. Very kind of self-sustaining. You're only allowed to live here, I think, if you're associated with the military in some way, because the land's owned by the Ministry of Defence of Denmark. So. Ah, there's the lighthouse. What are you doing?
Are you filming? So are you taking a picture? I'm looking at flowers.
The Swedish military have arrived.
No, it's the Danish. You're seriously colorblind.
Why?
Because you thought it was a Swedish boat.
Yeah, I know. It was the Danish Navy that's arrived, not the Swedish. I'm gonna get kicked off this island for saying something like that. Could do with a nice warm shower today now. The night has broken me, apparently. Or broken my heating system inside. That's the transit line going into a harbour. Just line the ball up with the box at the back, and then you can follow it in safely into the harbour. But I guess in this case there's another ball over there, so you have to keep the box inside of the two balls, and then you'll be fine. Yeah, I'll have to have a look on the chart. Strange, the likeliness or the similarity that they have to dogs is just, it's just amazing. Same teeth and everything inside. Poor guy. Still, he looked kind of fat when he died, so maybe it was just old age. That's life. This is what happens when you jam an in-mast furling sail up. A combination of mistakes really, not having lines labelled properly, so I released the top halyard when I shouldn't have done. Slowly getting the sail out the top.
Sorry, but it's not.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, but we're getting there. We're releasing it. It's a lot better than it was. No, it wasn't. To cut a long story short, the night before when I furled the mainsail in an effort to make it more free and more, so it would furl in and out a lot easier. I'd seen in a lot of YouTube videos that you should release the pressure on the vang and release the pressure on the main sheet as well, so that the boom would rise up and so the sail should sheet in more freely. The problem is I didn't realize in the night, especially with the canopy up, that when I released all the pressure on the vang and on the main sheet as well, the boom went from sort of this angle to all the way up to about this angle. And the wind was blowing quite hard because we were in thunderstorms, and the wind was picking up, and I thought, okay, let's get the sails in. When I was winding the sails in with the boom all the way up at this angle, you can imagine the top of the sail had, especially when we headed into wind to take the sail in, the sail was jumping in loose at the top like this. In turn, that caused folds in the top of the sail, and on top of that, when I released the pressure on the vang, the sail was coming in more of an angle like this, and the battens were at an angle as well. So when the battens come in, they tend to go in at an angle, and then they wrap around the mast rather than wrapping in straight up. They wrap around the mast and cause a hell of a lot of pressure in there, which in turn causes the sail not to furl as small as it should, so it furls in a big bundle also. On top of that, as I mentioned, the halyards and the sheets weren't labelled correctly when we left Greifswald, or they weren't labelled at all, rather, because we had to rush and we had to get the bridge to get out at a decent time and set course north. I didn't manage to capture much footage of this problem. I should have just rigged a camera up and just let the GoPro film it as we fixed it. There were so many methods that we chose to try and fix this, by shaking the sail, as you saw my father doing, by tightening the vang a little bit, releasing the vang a little bit to try and free the sail up at the top, but nothing was working. What we ended up doing in the end was taking the sail down entirely, and in that process, unfortunately, I broke, I heard one of the battens cracking a little bit, so that's a task that we've also got to undertake to repair the batten also, or put some new battens in there, 1 or 2 new battens. I'm told that they don't cost very much money, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem, to be honest. But this is a situation that I would not have wanted to be in at sea at all. This would have been a terrible situation. So I'm glad that, the idea behind me getting in the mainsail was the fact that I knew it didn't go in properly the night before. and I knew that we needed to check it and sort it out, and I'm really glad that we did. But it wasn't a fun experience, and in the future actually I plan to release a video explaining maybe a little bit of what you should and should not do with an in-mast furling mainsail. I need to learn it a bit more myself as well, learn the position that it needs to be in on the boom angle, but it's not an exact science. So I'll just maybe put a video together of what I learned the hard way, but yeah, it wasn't a good experience, I can tell you that. We just spent 5 hours, I think, trying to get the sail out of the mast. Was it 5 hours?
Something like that.
We made a series of mistakes basically, and the first one was not labeling the halyard, the sheets, all the sheets on the jammer, so I got the wrong halyard basically, which loosened the mainsail, which I didn't realise, and then I lowered the vang and changed the vang when we was trying to get the sail out, and it all went downhill from there pretty much. We ended up with a sail that was wrapped around itself inside the mast, and it's like the worst thing for an in-mast furling sail. Now we've got fricadella from Marianne's, nicely cooked this for us. She's been very patient and waiting.
She's been busy for 5 hours. Slaving in the galley.
We are really...
10 o'clock.
Yeah, I said
Is it 10 o'clock?
I've gone in tomorrow time now.
We're really learning the hard way about in-mast furling sails, and it's new and it's tight, and
I'm glad I've got some rennies.
there's no specific rules on where the vang should be, on how low the boom should be, so we're sort of guessing that. But it seems to have gone in. We took all the sail down. Unfortunately we might have broken a batten, but at least we didn't rip the sail. And so we took all the sail down and had to prise it out with a pair of grips. Yeah, Fairy Liquid grips with a t-shirt on. I'm absolutely knackered now, and we've got to get up at about 5 or 6 in the morning to set sail again. So I'm just terrified of getting the sail out of the mast now, to be honest with you. But
I don't think it would come out without that plastic.
Yeah, I think we all contributed to that problem.
Oh my god.
In varying ways.
Now we know what not to do, and we know what to do if it happens.
Yeah.
Okay, go on
So-
with salad, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Food time. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. I hope it wasn't too much doom and gloom, but at the same time I don't want to show all smiles and happiness all the time. I want to show the reality of sailing. Sometimes it doesn't always go to plan, and sometimes it happens, you know. So yeah, hope it's been cool. Give us a like if you liked, and then I hope you enjoy the channel. Cheers guys, thanks again, bye now, see you next time.